What do you strongly suspect, but have no real proof of? That a relative is a CIA agent. She was in the Peace Corps Vietnam era. Ever since she's been a world traveler, somehow able to drop her work and go hiking the Spanish version of the Appalachian Trail or otherwise go to exotic locales. Sometimes she came back with injuries. I fell as we were climbing some rocks. Her son is in the agency as an employee, not a spy, and he's married to a CIA translator. I believe my grandmother was a serial killer. She was married 7 times, each ending in a sudden death. She died in the 1980s, but everything is still suspicious and no one seems to know anything. I did find an article about her when she came to the US, where her first husband died defending her after her ex-boyfriend climbed in her window in New York City. I also found evidence of her having been in prison before coming to the US. That there is something seriously wrong with me, and people aren't telling me about it. I feel I have some sort of serious mental disability, personality disorder, or even some slight retardation, and no one will acknowledge it or admit it to me. My phone isn't really at 100% when it tells me it is. I work for a call center for the marketplace in the US. There was no interview, barely any training, super high turnover and super low morale. None of their decisions make sense. The entire operation almost feels like it's trying to work as poorly as possible so everyone hates it. That the ginger ale at this diner I go to every day is just Coke and Sprite mixed together. I think my local newspaper and news stations make up fake Facebook profiles to post inflammatory statements in the comment sections of their news releases. There are frequent commenters whose profiles have a basic name, no friend/random intonation friends, basic profile information and only one profile picture who will make some outlandish comment that starts a war. Some zoos have empty exhibits and just claim the animal is in there, you just never see them. That my brother stole and sold all my DS/3DS games for weed money. They were in a black case, and one day they were gone. Case and all. I still haven't beaten Pokémon Conquest. Edit. That a lot of businesses in my hometown are just money laundering operations. 25 nail salons in a town of 70,000. 3,000 square foot DVD rental shop in the best block of downtown where commercial rents are very high. Dozens of $10 barber shops sitting empty all day but remaining open. Red flags all around. That Bath and Body Works has like 13 unique scents. Every couple of months they just rotate the scents in and call them something else. That the majority of Reddit is bots. It's remarkable how many posts/top comments are just old posts/top comments. Toddler pageants are just dog whistles for pedophile rings to operate in the background. In my city something bad is about to happen. I see a lot of mansions on sale and houses with good location too. I think rich people know something that the rest of the people don't. Pretty paranoid, sorry. Edit 1. The economic conjectures are accurate, but in this city we have a petrochemistry, and like a month ago, an explosion was listened on all the city. Queen Elizabeth will probably live up to 120 years and longer. She is one of the best fed and most cared person on earth. If we invented something for immortality, she likely took it already. There's one company in a town local to me who board up windows. Nobody else in the area seems to do it. Every single window, door, abandoned shop, all done by this one company. They've got a ridiculous sized HQ and have put a decent amount of money towards fixing up other buildings in the area. So I've got a theory they're the ones doing the damage or paying people to do it and then obviously getting the job of fixing it up as they're really well known in the area. Despite having no proof of this, I'm 100% confident I'm onto them. That my father was in a super secret sector of the military during his service in the Vietnam War. Unfortunately, he died 2 years ago, so I'll probably never know what he really did. That my English teacher didn't read essays and base grades on how we were in class. That my grandmother had a child before she married my grandfather. When my grandparents met and started dating, my grandma was only 13. My grandpa was 20. They married when she was 17 and he was 24, right after he came back from serving in WWII. That was about as much of the story as anyone in my family ever knew. They'd been dating, then he went overseas, and she wrote to him while he was gone. When he got back, they got married. A few years after my grandma died, my grandfather suddenly mentioned that they'd actually been broken up for a while before she started writing to him. After they'd dated about a year, he went to pick her up at her house one day, only to find she wasn't home. Her parents informed him that she'd left to live with some cousins a few hours away, and she'd be gone for about a year. He got upset that she hadn't told him about this in advance, and ended the relationship. When another year-ish had passed, and she returned home to her parents, she started writing him overseas and apologized, and they started dating again. My grandpa told this story very blandly, and seemed to believe that the situation was what it said on the tin. But of course in the 1940s-60s it was quite common for teenage girls to go live with relatives for a year as a coat for having an out-of-wedlock pregnancy. My grandpa would never have admitted if they'd been having sex, but I'm betting they were. She got pregnant, and she was sent off somewhere to have the baby. I've done commercial DNA testing, so I'm on the lookout for someone to turn up as a sibling match to my mom someday. The only other explanation for my grandma suddenly leaving town would be if her parents didn't approve her relationship with my grandpa, but from everything I know of them, they were perfectly fine with their 13-year-old daughter dating a guy in his 20s. Famous actors have secret accounts, so they can see if their movie or name is mentioned in a credit replies. That's some Canadian guy who owns an antique shop that I bought a camera from in April recognized me. He acted flustered when I came in, and I came back the next day to make my purchase. He sold me the camera for what I thought was a reasonable price, and threw in an owner's manual in near perfect condition. A quick Google search reveals that it's an extremely rare camera that was only produced for 2 years. 1,000th still in existence or operational, and 1 out of every 1,000 working ones still has a certain part. Mine does. This guy's whole shop was based around antique cameras, and my dad talked shop with him for a while, and he even explained to me how to find film or modify some for my camera. He knew what he was selling me and lost a lot of money on the transaction. I even got it appraised to confirm my suspicions about what it was. I believe that Apple never actually intended for anyone to buy their $999 monitor stand. It was just an excuse so they could invalidate all warranty claims for the Pro monitor. We can't approve your claim due to the use of improper third-party equipment. That my ex-wife's boyfriend hurts my boys. They used to tell me it happened, but I never had proof. I then saw a mark one day, and they said it was cause of the boyfriend, and she explained it away. All of these times I'd call CPS and nothing came of it. One time my boy told CPS that when he talks bad about the boyfriend, mom hits him, but still nothing happened. After that point they stopped telling me things, which in my opinion means that they are just afraid of being hit by mom for telling me things about the boyfriend. Reddit questions are a clever way AI could compile data on every one of us. It's taking questions like what'll would you buy if you could only buy things with the first letter of your name. Children of the 80s what'll is it in your state/country that it's capable of building a profile on all of us. That my 5-month-old knows exactly when I'm about to fall asleep and starts crying just to F***K with me. I think my great uncle was gay, but lived in a time where he had to hide that part of himself. He never had a wife or kids. He traveled a lot and was very into art. I asked my grandma a while back if she thought he was gay, and she said he just wasn't interested in having girlfriends. More than half of people who buy expensive luxury cars, BMWs, Audi, etc., can't actually afford them. Historians plus 200 years from now will be able to look at all of the private messages and data of people who have been long dead. Similar to how we can read private letters of people from 1700s. That my wife is throwing one of each pair of socks away. Prince Charles will never sit on the throne. I believe he made a deal with Queen Elizabeth that in exchange for being allowed to marry Camilla he gave up his right to sit on the throne. Prince William will sit on the throne when Queen Elizabeth dies. that only about 20% of people actually do any work. The rest just get by looking busy. Cornhole is a conspiracy by the insurance industry because they feel horseshoes is too dangerous. O.J. Simpson killed somebody. Suspect: my physically and mentally abusive ex-husband was planning on offing me during our separation/divorce. He got a $75,000 life insurance policy on me during our separation. Found out 2 years after our divorce when he had overpaid the policy and the insurance sent me a refund check. Mistake on their part. During our separation, he had invited me to join his family vacation at Grand Canyon. I said no. He invited me to the mountains that same summer to try to be a family again. I said no. Then he invited me to Mexico for reconciliation again. No. I said no because the gut feelings I had, and my mom told me not to. She had 3 dreams in a row that my soon-to-be ex-husband would tell her I was dead. I have no proof, just the insurance policy and my mom's dreams. 2 years after divorce, he cancelled policy. I didn't know you could get insurance on someone without them knowing. Make sure to like and subscribe for more daily content. Thanks for watching.